Yeah, a very good afternoon, everybody. And this is the second day afternoon session. In this evening session, we will have presentations on Indian English literature, the literature which is published in the post-independent era. Let us have a look at the topics on which the presentations are going to be there and the name of the students who are going to make presentations on it. So I will have first presentation by Upasana on narrative technique in Midnight's Children, followed by Trushali's one on fictionalized narration of history, a comparative study of Midnight's Children with Bharat and Lal Singh Chadha. Rinkal will make it on untouchability, an element depicted in selected literary works. Riddhi will read on magical realism and symbolism in The Midnight's Children. Rajeshvariba on exploring the universal theme of division in Mahesh Dattani's play Final Solutions. Let me remind again that in the title, when you write, all the keywords should be capitalized. So universal, theme, division. Even in the previous one by Rinkal, that is depicted, should be capitalized. Pooja's presentation will be on cultural context and universal themes in Jayanta Mahapatra's work. Payal, you're missing your topic, you have not typed, maybe here still. Nirali on Radhakrishnan's literary legacy, influence on Indian writing. Mansi's on hybridity in Midnight's Children. And finally, Insia Fatema's on comparative study of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan and Sri Arbindo's educational policy, philosophy. Okay, so let us start with the first presentation. Upasana, you can start. That is disconnected, that laptop is disconnected. I think now connected here.
Share a second. Oh, can I start, sir? Hello everyone, my name is Upasana Goswami and today I am present the topic the narrative technique Midnight Children's. These are my personal information. These are a table of content about the author, introduction, first person narrative, oral tradition, and storytelling, Western and Indian oral narratology method, magical realism, hybridity, cinematic narrative, and conclusion. First of all, about the author. Salman Rushdie is a British Indian author born on June 19, 1947 in Mumbai, India. He gained international fame. For his novel Midnight Children, which won the Booker Prize in 1981. Rushdie is known for his magical realism, blending history and fiction in his work. He faced significant controversy with the publication of the satanic verse in 1988, leading of a fatwa against him by Iran's uh, Ayatollah Khomeini. Rushdie's writing often explores theme of identity, migrations, and cultural clash. He has a continued to write an prolif- uh, prolific- uh, prolifically producing the numerous novels, essays, and memoirs. Salman Rushdie has received numerous literary awards and honor throughout his career. Introduction. Midnight Students is described as a few autobiographical that combines personal farce and political realism. The narrator Salim Sinine weaves his own childhood story with the history of India, as he was born at the moment of India's independence from a British rule. The novel explores the idea that the understand of one life, you must grasp the entire world. The narrative style is aesthetic, encompassing Salim's story, his family and the nation. The physical discrimination of Salim's reflects the grotesque qualities, including bulbous temples, a bland spot, and enormous nose, and a missing figure. Salim's methodological can be seen as a revenge fantasy, particularly when he observed more popular boys at the school dance, whom has the surname Rushdie. First person narrative style, subjectivity. The story is told from the viewpoint of Salim Sinani, allowing readers to delve deep into his personal thought, emotion, and expression. Intimate. Intimate connection. Salim's narration established a strong emotional bond with the readers, as they see the world throughout his eyes and feel his joy, struggles, and complexity. Unreliable narrator. Salim's account is colored by his own perspective and memory, making him an unreliable narrator at times, which adds a depth and complexity to the storytelling. Personal growth. The first person narrative allow for exploration of Salim's personal growth and self discovery as he reconnect his life journey, making in the inter, in a introspective and introspective narrative. Character depth. The perspective offer a grounded understanding of of a Salim's character, his cultural background, and his inner conflict, earning the reader's engagement with the story. Emotional impact. A reader can empathize with Salim's experience, making the novel emotionally response to, and providing a more profound connecting to the historical and political event portrayed in his book. Oral tradition and storytelling. Midnight Children's blend diverse cultural influence, including European, Middle Eastern, and South Asian elements, creating a rich narrative like potent potence, the novel draw upon both cinematic and literary inspiration, reflecting a fusion of version of artistic form. The use of the use of Teutony as a metaphor suggests that the novel blend is a no is so interact that it's challenging to identify each component. Salim suggestions that children born at a midnight on the day of independence in Indian possess a magical gift is a control plot point. Salim himself possesses the ability to enter other people's mind and see the world throughout their eyes. Other children born at the same time exhibit gift reminiscent of a common themes in a folk talk worldwide, such as mirror travel, healing, prophecy, time travel, and shape shifting. There are some example of Western and Indian oral narratologic method. The first image is a Russian doll, Panchatantra, and box within box. In the Midnight Children's, Salman Rushdie use a narrative technique like a Russian box. The story in the story within story, and the second example is Panchatantra. In our Vishnu Sharma Panchatantra, so many stories are there. And just as it is in the Midnight Children's, so many story in there. Second one is Vikram Vetal, Mahabharata and Ramayana. In the Vikram Vetal, Vikram Vetal for narrator tell a story tell a story first and story within story. And Mahabharata, in the Mahabharata divided so many parts. And in the Midnight Children's divided 17 parts. And the Ramayana divided in the uh, magical realism. The concept of magical realism is a complex and has been defined in versions way since 1995. Some likes the Terry Purchant see magical realism as a more sophisticated than fantasy, will others view it as having a strict rules and a specificity. A common definition of magical realism is that it is a genre of visual style where magical elements are presented in a mundane or artistic settings as if they are commonplace and real. The key aspects is that magic is treated seriously and as a part of everyday life. The term magical realism, organized from a 1925 essay by German art critic Fanon Rowe, although it wants to intuitively used to describe the literature, but rather the new objectivity movement in art. Hybridity. The novel explores various levels of hybridity, emphasize the blending of cultural elements in a post-colonial India. Hybridity contribute to the formation of a new image of India as it transitions from a colonial to a post-colonial nation. Multiple characters from a different culture backgrounds exist in the story. Exemplify the hybridity nature of Indian society. Throughout his hybridity, character reinterpret and create their create our own version of Indian history, challenging the British colony narratives. In Midnight Children, Salim signs a unique identity, born at the stroke of a midnight on Indian independence, reflects the hybridity nature of the nation where he possesses both India and British attribute, symbolize the complexity of a post-colonial identity. cinematic narrative in a Midnight Children. Salman Rushdie employed a viewed and a cinematic description to the creative visual narrative, making the novel feel like a movie. The novel uses a montage effect to jump between different movement in a time, akin to film edition, connecting various events and characters. Like in cinema, the book incorporated flashback and flash forward. The enhance the narrative structure and reveals plot elements gradually. The narrative often shift between different characters. Perspective akin to the way film can change focus between character, offering varied. In the conclusion, the narrative technique in Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie, with its first-person perspective and magical realism, serves to deeply immerse the readers in Salim's Sinan's personal journey and a historical tapestry of a post-colonial India. This technique creates an intimate and emotionally resonant experience, blending a personal growth, culture exploration, and the complexity of the memory and the objectivity, making it distinctive and compelling narrative. These are my reference. Thank you, and now you can ask me question.
Camera is disconnected. We have to push it. That only USB.
I think network has been disconnected. I cannot run. Network, I think, has been.
Camera, our voice is coming. Camera, you see the StreamYard, you check this. It should be off, perhaps, camera. Camera is off.
Camera off. Correct. The mic off.
So now you can ask me question.
So, Upasana, how does Salim's identity as a midnight child affect the way he tells the story?
Salim's Insia, Salim identity as a midnight child affects the
Green screen, that is camera. Complete your answer.
okay. Your Salim's identity as a midnight children affect the way he tells in his story. A unique perspective unique perspective and on his life and Indian history to connect to the story.
Upasana, how does Salim Sinai's first-person narration affect the reader's comprehension of the story of Midnight Children?
How does the Salim's first person narrative affect the reader's comprehension on the story in Midnight Reader? So, Salima Sinan, a first-person narrative, affect the reader's intimate and individual perspective, and express the experience and experience and personal experience. Okay. Very good afternoon to everyone. Today, on the second day of presentation semester 3, I, Trushali Dodiya, going to make presentation on fictionalized narrative of history, a comparative study of midnight children with Bharat and Lal Singh Chadha. These are my academic details. These are the points that I am going to discuss in my presentation. Let us first begin with the introduction of the novel Midnight Children itself, which is written by Salman Rushdie in 1981. The setting of this novel is first in India, then it is in Pakistan, and then in Bangladesh. And in this, Salim, the narrator, tells the story of his life to Padma, which includes major events in India's history, from like independence of India in 1947 to emergency by Indira Gandhi in 1977. And Salim connects his personal history with all these historical events. Uh, Now let's first look at Midnight Children as a historical fiction, because in this work, major historical events of the time has been captured and it has been fictionalized. So Rushdie uses a fictional comment on the traumatic history of post-independent India, and T. and Dhar, in problematizing history with Rushdie in Midnight Children, says that the work of historiographic fiction offered the alternative recreation of the past or of repressed voices on the once marginalized in available history. So this work talks about those people who are not talked about themselves, because during this traumatic post-independent India, post-independence time, each and every person's life were getting affected by this partition and all that traumatic events that happened that time. So, and in this collective memory of people works a lot, and in this work also the role of memory remains very vital, and throughout the narrative of this work we see various missing links of Salim himself. So he's not getting, like, he's just telling the story. At a certain point we as a reader realizes that there is something that he's missing out. uh, uh, in this Midnight Children, when Salim says that most of what matters in our lives takes place in our absence. So, sorry, but I seem to have found from somewhere the trick of filling the gaps in my knowledge, so that everything is in my hand down to the last detail. So he's just trying out to filling the gaps that is remaining in his memory. Dhar also quotes Karl Breaker, who talks about history. He says that history is the memory of things said and done, but memory is not accurate. It is always inaccurate, because memory is one belong to one person, and it can differ from one and other person. And as this novel is written in the magic realism technique, which, according to Britannica, a narrative strategy that is characterized by the matter of fact inclusion of fantastic or mythical elements into seemingly realistic fiction. So in this novel we can see that Salim, born on the stroke of 12 of the 15th of August 1947, on the day our India got independence, he is having the superpower to read people's thoughts, to like he can get what other people are thinking. So this magical power is also included in this. According to Rushdie, preserving past through memory can be called chutnification of history. Here, Salman Rushdie uses the word chutnification, and this chutnification is connected to pickle, because though the preservation is there, we are preserving pickle for a year and so far, but at the same time, it is not remaining in its natural form. It is getting distorted day by day. So, likewise, Salim's memory is also like this chutnification of history in itself. It leads to distortion. Salim also says that, I quote, in words and pickle, I have immortalized my memories, although distortion are inevitable in both the methods, I end quote. So he also includes this words and pickle, both the words. And when one person or one power is talking about any kind of historical elements, there will always be a kind of manipulation. It can be sometimes consciously done as well, and sometimes it can be done unconsciously as well. Srinivasa and Kalupur argues that it is impossible to know the history because nobody can claim to know everything correctly that happened in the past. And in the initial part of the novel, Adam Aziz is looking from this perforated sheet to his patient and his would-be wife, Nasim. So this can be seen in the character of Salim as well, because his narrative is he is looking from this perforated sheet. He's trying to combine the bits and pieces of all that things, and individual views are mostly concerned in this, because that matters when we are fictionalizing history, what individual people thinks about particular historical event. Now let us do the comparative study of Bharat, Midnight's Children, Bharat, and Lal Singh Chadha. So all three novels are somewhat similar in depicting the historical events in fictional and in the fiction. So Midnight's Children is a post-colonial novel which talks about magical realism with historical events, and it talks about tells about the Salim Sinai, who born at the stroke of 12 of midnight on August 15, 1947, when India got independence. And he also talks about 1001 children who born at the same night, who are having the power that he is possessing. Now, Bharat is a movie which stresses the journey of Bharat Kumar across India's history from 1940s and to the 1910s. In this movie, Bharat, there is in the initial part there is this India's partition. Bharat and his family were living in Pakistan, and due to this partition of India and Pakistan after independence, they have to come here. The situation was very traumatic that time, because trains of like full of dead bodies were going and coming, and people were like sitting over the train to for their survival, and in which Bharat also loses his sister and his father. Well, Lal Singh Chadda is Hindi adaptation of the movie Forrest Gump, and it narrates its titular figures, characters, backdrop of history. In this Lal Singh Chadda, so many historical events are incorporated with his own life as well. Uh, if we compare the narrative technique of all three works, there is a non-linear narrative technique which goes from like present to past, past to present. There is a continuous shift between past and present, and the narrative point of view remains first person. Salim, Bharat, and Lal Singh Chadda, all three are the narrators. All three are telling their stories. Salim to Padma, Bharat to his family, Lal Singh Chadda to the fellow passenger in the train. And this narrative seems problematic, and the narrator could be seen as unreliable narrator, because in Salim's narrative also we can find that he is not having that much thing in his mind. He is somewhat distracting, somewhat not having that gap in between. Lal Singh Chadda is having low IQ power, so that is why. And their personal opinions matters a lot in this, and this is the charm of when historical fiction is created. In Midnight Children there is a magical realism, but on the other side, Bharat and Lal Singh Chadda both are based on realistic experiences and personal experiences. On the other hand, uh, the manifestation of all the character development is like very same in all three stories. Like they are telling stories to others about themselves, their struggle of life, how they were in the historical this traumatic situation of India, the birth of Salim Sina and struggle of partition of India, because Salim went to Pakistan after the partition, and even the partition of Salim can be seen in different ways, because on his birth he was swamped with Shiva by Mary Pereira. So there is the partition of himself with his family as well is being there. And then this partition of India happens. Bharat talks about partition of India, Pakistan, same, and migration of himself to Pakistan to India and his struggle here. When Lal is growing up as a low IQ child, and it is incorporating various historical events like say Kargil war and other independent movement and other things. The death of our former prime minister of that time, Indira Gandhi. So all characters are suffering from the backdrop of historical events. Now, how historical events are getting represented in all three works. So, Rushdie, in his book Imaginary Homelands, himself asserts that history is always ambiguous. Facts are hard to establish, capable of being given many meanings. Reality is built on our prejudices, misconceptions, and ignorance, as well as our own perspective and knowledge. So, history cannot be like, if one person history is something, other one's would be different, because we all are having our different thought process, we are having different meanings and conceptions of particular point. So Rushdie talks about this ambiguousness of history, and it interweaves personal life with the historical event. And yeah, Midnight Children depicts independence of India, partition from independence in 1947 to emergency led by Indira Gandhi in 1977, and Salim's narrative of Midnight Children is incorporated in within that frame, where he talks about his own story, how he has been suffered a lot throughout his life. Bharat, as I just mentioned, his is giving his point of view about partition and his personal perspective of India's history. Because at the end of the film, we will find that he is getting uh, his sister, Goody, at the end. So at the end, there is a kind of mila. They are the family who were like not there with that time, so they gathered at that place. Lal Singh Chadda depicts various events like the assassination of Indira Gandhi, the Kargil War, the Anna Hazare hunger strike, Babri Masjid, backdrop of the historical, all the historical phenomenon, where it is important to note that the this assassination of Indira Gandhi affected the character of Lal Singh Chadda a lot, that we'll see later on in this presentation as well. He also participated himself in this Kargil war, so he's also incorporated with that. And this Babri Masjid. And one more thing, when anything happens, as Lal is not having that high IQ power, he's a very low IQ power, it's mentally not good. So wherever anything happens, his mother tells that that do not go outside, and each time he says makeri see that you will not have to go outside. घर के बाहर नहीं जाना है. So that's happened, and this is affects him a lot. This Babri Masjid and the assassination of Indira Gandhi as well. Now, identity remains the question while we fictionalizing this historical events. There is a kind of a complete amnesia of Salim came when the silver spittoon hits his head. So he is forgetting everything, but later on he's getting into that memory. And at this point also we can see that unreliability of his narrative, because he was like forget he forgot each and everything of his life, and then he later on come to know about that. Even the identity and this amnesia of Salim can be compared to India's citizens amnesia towards the historic events as well. Identity crisis in can be seen in this Lal Singh Chadha as well, because the murder of Indira Gandhi was done by two Sikh bodyguards, and at that time, people were like uh, people were like killing all the Sikhs. So his mother on the top right, you can see that his mother is cutting down his hair so that his identity cannot be revealed. Then losing one identity, where a Bharat who comes from Pakistan to India loses his identity as Pakistan and is completely coming in a new zone. So identity crisis can be seen in all these things in this way. Now I will conclude my presentation with the Neil Langer's quote and about the storytelling shaping the collective memory of people, because memory plays a vital role, and we in storytelling also in the memory, because we are addicted to stories, and if the historical aspect is connected with incorporated with this fictionalization, so the connecting the dots comes, and we could like remember all the things in a better way. So yeah, there is some things that is being neglected, but though it is being done. Neely Langer says that memories are not just a stereo house of for facts, but a creative blend of fact and fiction that helps people tell meaningful stories about their life. So like memory is not just a storehouse, it is the like a blend of fact and fiction together. So people's own mindsets, own thoughts plus history are coming, and this all this three works bridges between the fiction and history together. There are multiple perspective of histories being depicted in the novel, and cinema is in both the films are like we are more to this visual mediums, because we can get the idea overall like things in a better way. So this cinema plays a very vital role in both the things, both the movies as well. And Weinstein, Paul Weinstein in movies as the gateway to history, though it talks about more his like research thing about of students, but in our initial part it talks about that the fictionalization of history in film and or in literary work provides an insight, poses questions and invites further inquiry to particular events as well, and it is empathetic towards the how people witnessed and understood and lived their life during that period. So all these things we the the story are very simple, narrating the history of the thing with the connection of their own story, but what they are saying that's important, because they are telling their story which are unknown to others, because so many people have suffered during that historical period and their stories are getting untold. So this is how we can see the fictionalization of history in the all three works, novel and two films. These are the references. Thank you. Now I'm open for questions.
Trushali, can you share a key historical event from the novel which changed the life of Salim and other midnight children?
Yes. Like when we are talking about this historical see in this novel various historical events are depicted, because this novel is this post independent novel, and the if we see from the beginning only the swamping of himself by Mary Pereira, why she has done it to like change the religion, Salim to Shiv and Shiv to Salim. So at a very birth, he is getting that kind of partition himself, and this can be connected to the partition of India. And throughout the life, he also suffers that thing. He has to go to Bangladesh as well, and then after he comes to the India. So this is it can be seen like this.
Question is not wrong. Posted his main comment. Yesterday also, we had a couple of you posting it as main comment, so it was not reflected. Payal is coming there to Pooja's question.
Trushali, how does the novel explore the concept of identity within the connect of historical change? So, as I've just mentioned, this to like Riddhi, that Salim's identity remains very ambiguous throughout his life. First, he is getting swamped. He is now living with. He is the son of Matwold and Vanita, and then he is getting swamped to this other Moses. He is living with him. So at this point, first point it is that because it historic change, because Mary Pereira wanted to like uh, sh- uh, change the fortune of both the sons, both the childrens, and also in the throughout the novel, this identity crisis of Salim till the end, when his father come to know about his identity, there also conflicts happen at that time. So this is going to be okay. Thank you so much.
Net connection, Wi-Fi, low connection story. See that you are properly Wi-Fi and check the connection. Automatically Wi-Fi is
No, sir. No. Wi-Fi is turned off.
turned off.
Hello everyone. May I start? Hello everyone. I am Rinkal, and at the second day of our presentation, semester 3, I have selected the topic of untouchability, an element depicted in selected literary works. So here is my academic details. Untouchability in literature and in present time. I have selected three literary works, like untouchability depicted in three literary works, like poem One Night by Meena Kandasamy, then Untouchable, a novel by R.K. Narayan, then Timir Panthi, another novel by Dhrupat, and here is the pyramid of this ancient time, this how Varna Vyavastha of India was being followed during the ancient time. Then meaning of untouchable. So untouchable, a particular word, there are two words, untouchable and dalit. So first let us see meaning of untouchable. There is a meaning like forbidden to touch or not to be handled, and another lying beyond the reach. There are two different meanings, like untouchable, which is out of the reach, and then another one is what is unpure or not able, one cannot touch it, or one can get unpure by touching it. Then another one is dalit. uh, Too many Indians, the word Dalit is inextricably linked with to Bahujan Party, which was there in political party during the time when this all Swadeshi movement were being done, and then the history of the word Dalit. The Dalit is a word borrowed from Marathi, and then New Sanskrit Dalita, which is not belonging to one or four traditional caste groups in the India. So this is below of all. Then which is destroyed or which is uh, not able to get out of the situation it has put in. And the first use of the word Dalit was in 1948. Untouchability in literary works, like untouchability in poem One Night. So there are Meena Kandasamy has given different perspectives of looking at the person, like the child who was Dalit and was drinking water from the which was preserved for another people, like port for port there is only one child, right? And another which elements are not having any liveliness for them, that is a normal thing, like any human being will be same for them. But for teacher, a girl breaking rule, then which was not exactly something like rule. Then doctor, for doctor it was a medical emergency. Then for press it was headline for the newspaper. And dhanam for the person character dhanam, for her the word turned in half, like she was betrayed or uh, betrayed or get punished for drinking water. So there was one real incident for this in Rajasthan, and it has come in the newspaper also, that one child has drank water for someone which was preserved for someone else. So here untouchability in untouchable. So the novel Untouchable is a novel written by Mulk Raj Anand, and it was published in 1935. And the novel is significant work in the Dalit English literature. For it is showing some issues of Dalit community during India, in Indian people. Like there are several dialogues from Bakha, a prominent character in the novel. My father is ill, so I am going to sweep the roads in the town and the temple courtyard in his stead. Like father was doing the work of sweeper, and he was belonging to the very lower caste. So father is not able to do the work, so his son has to go for in place of his father. And another one, yes, Sahib, I understand. Bakhari said eagerly. Issue Masih makes no difference between Brahmin and myself. So there was one Christian person telling him that there is not a religious or there are no caste like in religion that are having these differences. And he was getting agreed that Christianity is not a religion of these differences. So everyone thinks, I quote, everyone thinks us at fault. Baka was saying to himself, as he was walking along, he wants me to come and confess my sin. There was one Christian priest and wanted him to confess everything in front of the person like Bakha, that he has done something wrong. And his Mem Sahib, I don't know what she said about bhangis and chamars. She was angry with the Sahib because her husband get this very dirty person inside her home, and so that I didn't ask the padri to come and talk to me. I didn't say him. He came to his own accord. I was so happy to talk to him. I would certainly have asked him for a pair of white tarsus had the Mem Sahib not been angry. So and another one, like this is one incident of his sister Sohini and with the pandit of the village, that he was working in the temple and said to Sohini that come to my place, I will give you some water. So water was also prohibited, so for the person, that water is some water is privileged for mainstream people, not for this outcasted people. And one incident that Panditji was misbehaving with Sohini, and this incident was there. So their untouchability was not restricting a Pandit to touch a girl who is Dalit. So that was the thing. Untouchability in Timir Panthi. So there is also a same thing where it comes when it comes to their needs, and another when it comes to their personal benefits. People do not look at the circumstances or any other perspectives like caste or religion. When they are in extreme need of something, they will not look at anything else. So there was one incident in initial part of Timir Panthi that uh, there was lying one Devi in water hole. Like if the person is there was one person dying in the uh, what we can say like kuwa or something else. That person has died inside the it, and another person who they don't know who he was trying to save the person, but this woman said that you cannot touch the water, or you cannot get into the water to save someone also, because our water will get unpure. So that is how. There is one famous dialogue like કુઈમાની યક્ષણી તો પેલો અંદર પડ્યો કે અબડાઈ હશે, ન જાણે કયા વરણનો એ કોણ ડૂબી ગયું છે અંદર, એ વિચાર કોઈને કેમ ન આવ્યો, because no one knows who is inside the water and who one has died because of this water. But if another one is going to save him, so water will get unpure. So that difference is must to see. There is eradicating problems in AI as an answer. So artificial intelligence comes as an answer to this kind of problems. Like in Untouchable, there is a last part of the novel where Mahatma Gandhi comes to some sabha and saying that there will come flashing toilets. So sweeper don't do need to clean the toilets. They don't need to sweep also. Like here is robot cleaning. There are coming robots doing some sweeping and cleaning works. And for cooking also, like now there are another issues like for female and for another people also, that who will do which work. So AI comes as an answer that no, there are not discriminate which work can't be done by human, AI will be there to do. Here are my references. Thank you. Now you can ask me questions.
Rinkal, what impact does the depiction of untouchability have on the overall message in the selected literary work you have studied?
Okay. I have selected three literary works, right? One poem and two novels. The core message of it is there are no differences as such in people and in communities, but though they are behaving like this, if someone is doing sweeping work or another kind of work, another people will look at him that he is unpure, and we will also get unpure if they will touch us. So I have selected it is basic human psychology. Actually, it is like people are not getting what is right for them and what is, because some basic human needs, if they want to fulfill, they will not think of anything like caste, or if we are dying in the uh, desert, so we will not, whoever will give us water or food, we will not ask him where do you come from and who you are. So this is the thing here.
Like, my question is that, Rinkal, though the Indian Constitution has provided equality under the Article 15 to every citizen of India, then why this mentality is being still continued? And like in recent days, we have this in Rajasthan one case where a school boy, was bitten badly by his teacher, as because only because he has just touched his water pot. So, how do you see all such interconnections?
Okay, when it comes to interconnection, like to present days, there is constitution, no doubt, because Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi, all people have witnessed the untouchability and the and very cruel results of it that people are facing because of it. And so there is a mention of technology as an answer. Technology is there to answer, but the first answer should be for the people that there is constitution. If someone is breaking it down, so one can claim a report against someone else. But there are what if police is not also aware of this kind of thing? So first comes awareness of people, or their understanding that how they are taking all these things together. So that is the thing here. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today is the second day of our presentation. Today I am present topic on magical realism and symbolism in Midnight Children. Here is my personal information. Table of content which I have present in my presentation. First of all, introduction of author and novel. Salman Rushdie was born in 90 June 1947 in Bombay. He was an Indian-born novelist. He was educated at the University of Cambridge. Cambridge. He He worked as an advertising copyright in London in the 1970s before winning expected success with Midnight Children in 1981. He won a Booker Prize, an allegorical novel about modern India. Two most famous work of Salman Rushdie was Shame and Satanic Verse. Midnight Children's is a 1981 novel by Salman Rushdie. The novel was published by Jonathan Cape. The novel is about clash between two religions. The main characters of the novel is Salim, Shiva and Parvati. First of all, what is magic realism? Kind of modern fiction in which fabulous and fantastical and element are included in a narrative that otherwise maintains the reliable tone of objective and realistic report. The words magic and realism do not seem to be compatible with each other. Realism is all about events that have happened largely in a historical setting. On the contrary, magic concerns the use of fantastic or magical elements in the narrative. Dictionary meaning of magical realism is a literary or genre that combines. Uh, Franz Rowe was first author. He was used this term in 1925. His essay on magical realism, post-expressionism. It is worth noting that Rowe originally used this term in the context of visual art, particularly when discussing new objectivity, an art movement that moved away from romanticism. Characteristics of magical realism is fantastical elements, hybridity, sense of mystery, irony, supernatural and natural metafiction, political critique. Magical realism in Midnight Children. Salman Rushdie, magical realism is skillfully woven into narrative, blurring the line between the supernatural and reality. Key instances of magical elements seamlessly integrated into the story include first, Telepathy of Midnight Children. The novel revolves around a group of children born at the stroke of midnight on India's independence. These children possess telepathic abilities, allowing them to communicate with each other through their thoughts. This supernatural gift is presented as a natural part of their lives. Second one is Salim's nose and identity. The protagonist Salim Sinai is born with a distinctive, enormous nose that grants him the ability to smell emotions and events. His unique physical features symbolize his connection to the diverse history and culture of India. Third one is the nose factory. The narrative introduces a factory where noses are manufactured and traded. This element of the story reflects the absurdity of reality and serves as a symbol of the diverse identities within the nation. Fourth one is Shiva's supernatural strength. Salim's revival Shiva passes extraordinary physical strength. His ability is a metaphor for the brute force and violence that emerged during India's post-independence struggles. What is symbolism? Symbolism uses symbols and metaphors to represent deeper ideas or emotion. For example, in Vincent van Gogh's painting, Starry Nights, the swirling stars and moon are just literal object. They symbolize his emotional turmoil and mental state. Characteristic of symbolism, hidden meanings, many interpretation, cultural and historical connections, emotional impact, repeated use, themes and ideas. Symbolism in Midnight's Children. The Mythwalls Estate. The Mythwalls Estate is a symbol of British colonial influence of oppression in India. It reflects the broader theme of colonization in post-independence India. The brass spittoon. The brass spittoon represents the loss of dignity and self-respect, especially in the context of where Salim's family works is a symbol of the variety of cultural influence and the melting pot that is India. It represents the diversity of the country and how different elements are preserved and blended. The nose. Salim's distinctive nose is a symbol of his unique identity and connection to India's diverse cultural heritage. It highlights the idea that an individual physical traits then can carry a deeper cultural significance. The Midnight Children group represents on India's independence, symbolize the promise and challenges of the new nation. Each child's unique ability reflects different aspects of India's complex identity. Now, comparing magical realism and symbolism, nature of elements. In magical realism, magical elements are often tangible and form an integral part of the narrative. For instance, Salim's telepathic powers are a concrete part of the story. In symbolism, symbols in the novel are often abstract and metaphorical, representing concept or emotions. For example, Salim's enormous nose symbolize the diversity of India. Second one is narrative function. In narrative function, magical realism, magical elements in the novel serves to create a sense of wonder and to question the boundary between reality and the supernatural. In symbolism, symbols are used to convey deeper meanings and explore the cultural and historical context, adding layers of interpretation to the story. Third one is direct and indirect. In magical realism, it directly introduce it directly introduce magical or supernatural elements into the narrative and treats them as a part of everyday life. In symbolism, indirectly represent abstract ideas or emotion through metaphorical elements. What is impact of Midnight Children? The impact of Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children on the genre of magical realism and symbolism in literature has been profound. Impact on magical realism, expanding boundaries. Midnight Children has expanded the boundaries of magical realism by demonstrating how this genre can be applied to complex post-colonial narratives. The novel showed that magical realism is not limited to Latin American literature and can thrive in diverse cultural contexts. Impact on symbolism, cultural exploration. The novel's extensive use of symbolism delves deep into the cultural, historical, and political layers of post independence India. This has influenced how symbolism is utilized to explore complex themes and convey cultural intricacies. Conclusion: magical realism and symbolism are storytelling tools that add depth enhancement to literature and art. Magical realism blends the magical with the ordinary, making us question reality. Symbolism uses hidden codes to express emotion and deeper meanings. Both invites us to explore the worlds beyond the surface. References which I have used my presentation.
Riddhi, can you identify a specific example of magical realism in the world?
Yes, in protagonist Sinai was only uh, ability to telepathically to connect with other childrens. He has unique ability or supernatural uh, supernatural power.
사과하면 꿀을 깨버려.
So, Riddhi, as you have talked about this magic realism in Midnight, so how does this magic realism impact the overall narration of the novel?
Salman Rushdie used magical realism in this novel. The novel is most
I mean, how the main idea is conveyed through magic realism.
the all children have ability to some unique ability uh, in the novel. uh, Salman Rushdie used their characters. Salman Rushdie used magical
Sir, may I start? Myself Rajeshwari, and in the second day of presentation, I will deal with the topic of the exploring the universal theme of division in Mahesh Dattani's play Final Solutions. This is my academic information. Table of content. So, first of all, I would like to say some brief introduction about Mahesh Dattani. So, he was born in 1958 in Bangalore, and he was a very prominent writer in English language, and his diversity of theme, like he was dealt with some theme of relationship, cultural identity, and social taboos in his works. He himself has a director and director is one film in 2007 awarded and recognition. So for his work Final Solutions, he got Sahitya Akademi Award in 1998. Influence on Indian theatre. So Dattani's work has a very significant impact in Indian theatre as well as in Indian literature, literary contributions, and social contemporary. So his work as novel, short stories, and essays are versatile writers who has explored the various literary theme in literature and the relevance of his work. So his work is very nearby relevant to the contemporary situations of the society. Final Solutions. The Final Solution, it's a fifth play by Dattani, and here there is one mistake in here. First time it was dramatically performed in Bangalore in 1993, and in the hard copy in the book format it was published in 2005. And in this work the play revolved around a Hindu family that gives the refugee to Muslim boys during the communal riots, and the setting is of Gujarat, and Mahesh Dattani writes about the society and surrounding in which he lives. So for any writer, if they are writing what is happening contemporary at the time where they are living, it is a most it is very necessary thing for anybody. And for that we can say this work is last for last many years, as the what is happening in history to take the idea of from this work. His creativity is faithful and authentic experience of the first-hand experience and knowledge of socio-cultural environment. He holds a mirror to make reality visible to the audience. So in his work, he was showing the reality, very harsh reality of the society in this work. So uh, in 1992 there is a Bombay riots are sudden happening in 1992, and for that's why in 1993 some issues he may face while he was performing this play on the stage. So we can say uh, when some things are not allowed to perform at that time, there is some controversy behind it. So his work is very clearly told the harsh reality of the contemporary society before the 2 to 3 decades, as well as it's also relevant in our contemporary time. The main character Daksha, also known as Hardika, so this how he was telling about past and present, and this how he was cover the timeline of the rights happening in history and in the contemporary time of when he was write this work. So, communal conflicts. Dattani's Final Solution is a brave attempt to portraying communal conflicts in India. The play examines the liberal attitude of communalism. He is successful in handling such a burning social issues. So, in his play, he was well written the issues of the time in his work. So here is the one exam. This is the original quote from the final solutions of conversation between Smita and Ramanik. So Smita says they hire him and they hire such a people. Ramanik says they woo, and the Smita says those parties. Here she speaks those parties. They hire him. That's he make a living. They bring him and many more to the city. Creates riots to throw the first stone. So we can say this is the very relevant dialogue for during the riots and. Smita said for the in context of Javed. So Javed, he was involved in such a kind of things. So the religion and politics should be different from each other. They never mix up with each other, and the use of religion and caste system in increasing day by day in our democratic country. So I have found one Times of India's article, and here in this article there is a written why the religion and caste is used for the sake of the politicians and their personal use. So the one of the major thing, they both things have their another path, so they never stuck with each other or never mix up with each other. If that is happening, then it's very disastrous for all of us. And for the healthy democracy, it's never suggested to mix up those things. Here are some photos of rats. So in a contemporary time, we all know in violence in Manipur. So we also say this is also the communal violence between the Meiti and Kuki religion persons. So we can say the riots where the politicians are involved or not involved in, but the violence when we are seeing in right now in our contemporary time to in the 2023. So this is very dangerous when politicians and other things are mixed up with each other. So riots in India, and in 2002 we all know there is the Godhra Kand happening in 27th February 2002 from the many years, and lots of people are dying because of that, and there are many out effect after this Godhra Kand and these communal rights. If you are finding the communal rights on search on Wikipedia, at that time you will get very long list about the communal rights, and there are very big list. It is very shameful to for all of us. So if in India we have the caste system, but if we are seeing the overall world, people have different type of problems with each other with a different kind of some ideas. So this is a racial segregation in the US. So the facility and services such as housing, healthcare, education, employment, and transportation have been systematically separated in the United States on racial categories. So we can relate those things with India also. We have the caste system. So on the basis of caste, we have make some things are separate in India. So if the system is anywhere, it is as dangerous as the another any system. So the boundaries. Here is the example of the sign of colored waiting room at the Greyhound bus terminus in Rome, Georgia. So they have the race system, and because of this system, they have discrimination of the body color of the people. Black, brown, yellowish, and white people are there, and the white supremacy is there. So when people are stuck in this type of boundaries, so at that time they have the rule of prohibition against the interaction marriage. So there is the rule for marriage. So on the base of the race, people are not married with each other if they are not the same race. So we can also connect with the India. People are not get marriage in the intercaste or inter-religion. If nowadays it is very problematic if it is happening, then also. And the discrimination happen when people act on their prejudices and stereotypes. The prejudice mind and stereotype mind, or the we can say the orthodoxy of the people, are always lead them to done this type of foolish things. So here at the left side there is the example of Indian education system. At the such a time there is this type of education system. If we have said as the race system is as dangerous, the caste system is also the same danger itself in it. The if we are moves toward the UK. So in UK there is a class based division in the United Kingdom. So the British class system is a hierarchical structure of the category individuals in the. They have the system of upper class, upper middle class, and lower class. So they have discrimination on the basis of anybody's the economical condition are there play the significant role in this class based system. If we are get in the contemporary time, we Indians are also have the class system, but still we are try to come out from this system, and those countries are also tries to come out from this system. But in the now the in the era of after the globalization and 1991, in the after LPG the globalization era, in the era if we have seen the market fundamentalism is there, then the consumer, those who are consume the things, they are at the power. And if you have the money, so you are at the power. So time and again, if we are come out from the one system to the another, we are stuck in the another system. So we have to be clarify in our mind. So these systems are all there to bind the people in the boundaries. So worldwide divided, people are divided in the worldwide. First of all, we are divided according to geography. So if we are seeing the earth is a planet and we are geographically located at one place or another place, so we are divided at tectonic plates. We all know there is some plates. This is move because of some uh, this what we can say some pole of north pole and south pole. The continents, we are divided in continents, then countries, state, city and town and small town. In the same way, if we are coming from the one nation, we have the our identity of nation, then religion, then caste. In caste there is also subcaste are there. So we are worldwide divided people, we all are. So the item some at some level we are calling these things are our things. At the some time we are saying these things are my things. The idea of our and my, if we are thinking at the global level, so it is very dangerous idea of our and my. So here we can take the example of the war between Ukraine and Russia. So nowadays the people have the problem of the powers. If the one country is powerful, then they evoke another country to fight with each other. So nowadays we have the war of the Palestine and Israel. So at that time the dynamics are work. At some level the religion is playing significant role, at some level the power is. So we all are divided in one idea or in another idea. So here are I found some charts from counting. So it's chart about who says religious is very important in their lives. So the left one is here there shows the India. 80 percentage of the Indian people thinks the religion is very important for them, and the blue colored countries are there. At that there very less people are there who believes in religious idea. As you all know, in the final solutions the basic idea of the religion conflict. And in the right side of there is at the middle there is India is with the percentage of 81 percentage. So the many of in the blue colored is also for the believers, and this how we can see the blue color is more in this chart. So in the worldwide religions, believers of religions are very more people than those who are non-believers, or the confused people are, they are in the middle, they are not believer or not non-believer. So we can say religious is established for the sake of peace. If this many peoples are believers of the religious, and then we can see, and the right now the any of the corner of the world are facing the issue of the war and other kind of such problem. So we can say is religious is able to fulfill the basic idea of the peace or not. So the hope in a new generation, if we are, this is the page of at the bottom side of left corner, there is the final solution, the first page design of the final solution, there is written final solution, and also the symbolically it shows there is ultimately not final solution is there, it's shown is symbolically on the front page of this play. So we can say Dattanis traced the Hindu Muslim conflict through three generations. We can see the three generations are there with the help of Daksha, Hardika, and Aruna and Smita is there. So if we want to say the direct final solution is not given in this work, but if we are trying to find the solution, what is the solution, so between the line we can able to find what is the solution. So Daksha, Hardika, they are belonged from three pre-independent periods, and Aruna, her daughter-in-law, belongs to independent period, and Smita, they are the contemporary, or of we can say the after independent they are belonging. So those who are old people, those who have their past their certain age, they have some prejudice and some already some established idea in their mind, so maybe they are not able to grasp new ideas of the religious and the religion. So the new generation is hope. So here is the Smita is a girl who believes in liberal ideas. So it is my personal interpretation. So throughout the play we can see the Smita has the very liberal idea. She has some conflicts with her own mother. So and her mother was involving her to some rituals, but she's done those rituals, but she is not happy to do this certain kind of things. At that time we can say the liberal ideology and the idea of grasp of the new things. Here the friendship between Javed, Bobby and Smita, also the significant friendship for the solution. If the new generations are not stuck in this type of rigid ideology of religion and other kind of thing, so the hope is there in the play. There is not a direct solution, but the hope is also there. Maybe the new generations are done some good things in their future. So now here the conclusion. The play itself is a question mark for all of us. So what is the final solution to come out of this certain kinds of the conflicts within the country? And so we can say the ultimate answer is the humanity can be the answer for this type of things. With the help of humanity, we can give the answer and this type of things. And here I have concluded with this point. Here is the references that I have taken. And thank you. Now I'm open for question answer.
Rajeshwari, what message or commentary about racial segregation can be derived from the black, the final solution?
Nice question. You have taken this question from my slides. So, what message of contemporary about racial segregations can be derived from the play? So, here I have tried to connect the idea of the solution. So, ultimately, we are in the play. The Dattani was tried to talk about the religious problem with the Hindu and Muslims have at the India. But we can say not in only India we have this type of problems. The overall world people have different kind of problem, and the racial problem is in the America. So I have to explore this theme as a worldwide theme, and in this context I have included in my PPT. Thank you.
Rajeshwari, is there a way to manage the issue that diversity causes sometimes while still celebrating its diversity? It's universality.
uh, we are celebrating diversity. We think the India has the diverse culture, diversity in language, in the all manner. The diversity is celebrated in India. But the one thing is, if the diversity is have the some personal proud is itself in the diversity. If people as I am come from this or that, if even if it is a mix up with the diversity, at that time diversity itself problematic. Diversity is not problematic if it is celebrated with the openness of the mind and openness of the idea. If we are accept everyone's idea and everyone's the boundaries are we are managing and the accept, at that time diversity is not problematic. But if we are orthodox, then it is problematic. And the universality, so celebrating its a universality, if we are with the openness of our identity, at that time we can celebrate it universally. Thank you.
You can improve this question by asking to some AI tools. Try to improve the quality of the structure of the question. So you yourself will come to know that what can be a better way to frame this question. Which words, phrases can be used.
I think data. Yeah, data.
The camera is not on. Sound is coming, but camera is
Camera is on, sir. But the screen of Rajeshwari is still there.
frozen.
It is frozen. Network is coming properly. All the things are working.
Camera you disconnect and reconnect.
Okay.
Are you still here?
Yes, in StreamYard we are doing it. It's still not working. It's frozen. Network. Network તો બરાબર જ આવે છે.
Network is there, only camera problem is there.
Camera is frozen.
Disconnect and reconnect.
અહીં તો નથી જ કરવું પડશે.
mic on off.
So can I start?
Yes.
Okay, am I audible?
There's a problem with camera. Frozen.
Okay.
I think, sir, the mouse is very touched with
Yeah, maybe the mouse is touching. So otherwise, other side you can put that USB. If there is other side slot.
A mouse નું છે ને અહીંયા. Keep it here. Camera on करो. Start webcam. It is. Just virtual background. Sorry. This one? Yeah. Let me note. This is.
Afterwards, the other banners you can remove, so there is no confusion.
Okay. Sir. Okay. It is not. Yeah.
Okay, evening time.
Yes. Yeah.
Start.
Okay, so hello everyone, this is Pooja Bhuva. Today is the second day of semester 3 presentation from the paper number 202, Indian English Literature Post-Independence. I choose the topic, Cultural Context and Universal Themes in Jayant Mahapatra's works. Here are my personal information. Now let's see something about the poet Jayant Mahapatra. He was born on October 22nd, 1928 and died on 27 August 2023. He was awarded with so many awards, but these two are really very important. First one is Sahitya Akademi Award from for English poetry. He got this award when he was 91 year old. He won Padma Shri in 2009, but returned it to the government as noted in the letter that the letter he wrote to President Pranab Mukherjee. He says that mine is a small, insignificant step, but it is my personal way of showing protest to the growing asymmetry that is evident in the country. To show the support to the country, he returned his award, but also says that my act should not be considered as any kind of dishonor to the country. In his autobiography, Pahinirati, he reflects on his journey as a merit teacher of physics, not a very big personality, who embarks on a poetic journey during his tenure at BJB College in Bhubaneswar. He wrote so many works. In audio language also, he was an audio poet. So these are some important works of him, like the close, the sky 10 by 10, Swayamvara, and other poems and others. Now let's see the main idea of this presentation, cultural context and universal theme. I got the 3 points in it: cultural identity, mythology and tradition, and other themes. in his works. So let's first see the cultural identity in his works. His work reflect the complex interplay between personal identity and the broader cultural context in which individuals find themselves. It is like we when we read his poem, we can connect with it, and we can easily understand what he wants to say to the reader. For this cultural identity, I took the example of his poem Hunger, which is really very remarkable in his lifetime. The poet titles Hunger might show that the poet wants closeness and a deep connection, as this poem includes the point of child sex thread in this poem. The poem reflects also his personal thoughts and his personal life and his reflection, as it talks about having a strange relationship with his mom in real life. So what he really craves is the love he missed from his mom. He's looking for a replacement because he didn't get enough care and attention. This idea we can see in his last line of this poem. Like, I heard him say, my daughter, she's just turned 15. Feel her. I'll be back soon. Yours bus leaves at 9. With this tool, and we can connect so many ideas. Like your bus leaves at 9. We can see with this line that we can connect this two line also with our contemporary situation of raping involved. Like, your bus leaves at 9. It is like the rape in this world having increasing in large amount, but what we are doing, mostly nothing. The girl are raped, but the rapists are live freely, so he lives what happened and lives freely. He is not paining mentally, but the girl is in an above line, my daughter. It reflect that it doesn't matter what relationship the girl having with other person, but if he has a negative intention towards her, it is not really matter that what relation she is having with them. She's just turned 15. With this line we can connect it with that. It doesn't matter it is a girl, woman, or a little child. They all are same for the perspective of them. Now, Mahapatra states that the person's identity is linked to where their children came from and where they were born. This second idea is apart from totally different from his other poem. In this poem, he connects his idea with ancestor, that we have a deep connection with our ancestor, and we connect with them very perfectly. We can see that in this line, a man does not mean anything but the place. Sitting on the riverbank throwing pebbles into the muddy current, a man becomes the place. These lines reflect that the person has a very deep connection with the place, and the place reflects its identity, and that identity is also connected with his past or his ancestor. So this idea of his connecting ancestor and our real life, our own identity showing in this work. Now let's see the mythology and tradition. He uses so many ideas, universal themes. Of course, that all reflects in his work. Like, he wrote so many audio work, and most of the work related with the cultural context. So in Mahapatra's book of poems called Swayamvara and other poems, he mainly talks about two things: love and strong desire for something that he wants. About love, he's really good at looking deeply into these feelings and figuring out what makes them complicated. Like, he is a detective of human relationship. He can connect it what we feel, and he gave that lines or that idea to the reader. Another great example for this myth, he also wrote a short story called The Trunk of Ganesha. In that short story, he talks about a artist who is having difficulty while crafting a trunk of Ganesha. Now, other themes also really important. I describe in this PPT that Jayant Mahapatra's poem talk about big problems in India, like being very poor, people treating each other unfairly because of their caste, as we seen in previous PPT about untouchability in Rinkal's presentation. You with For this theme, the dawn at Puri is a good example for it. He also writes about different religion and how people practice them. For that, Indian summer poem written by him is it has this main idea in it. Sometimes he asks deep question about life, death, and what it all means, which can make you think about important stuff like on the existential question. For that, the grandfather written by him is a good example. And that this poem also talk about the changing of religion, that how his grandfather in 1866 an audience event, I guess, in 1866 the event occurs, and he have to give up his own religion, and he has to accept the Christian identity. Now let's see his poetic diction totally related with above themes and ideas. That poetic diction is Jayanta and Mahapatra's work divided in several elements. Like first, in powerful imagery, he has very uh, complex. His poems are often rich in visual and sensory details, which help convey complex emotion and themes. Like, of course, he described complex idea in his poems, but we after reading it we can easily connect it with and easily understand it. For symbolism, he uses objects, place, and so many places, and that represent our ideas and his ideas also, that how we think and how he draws that idea into his poems. He draws on Indian mythology and literature, including allusion to the mythological figure, stories, and texts in his poetry, as we show in the trunk of Ganesha and other. He is also known for his skillful use of language, as we also show in the poem Hunger, that how he beautifully reflect this idea, and we can connect it with our contemporary time also. He wrote so many back years this poem, but still we can relate it. So yeah, this is all for my presentation. Here are my references. Thank you for listening me. Stage is open for questions.
Any questions? Who is listening? Just sitting idly, forgetting it time and again. Then
Pooja, how has Jayanta Mahapatra's work evolved over time in response to changing cultural and global dynamics?
Jan Mahapatra's work mostly has connected with a universal theme of existential question, Indian mythology or other mythology, his own culture. So he reflects that idea. We cannot connect it totally with global dynamics. Of course, we can connect it with our culture and his culture, but the global dynamics, I don't think so. It is right thing from his poems we can get. Yeah.
Pooja, is it possible to address the issue of sexual violence and reduce hunger through comprehensive sexual education?
Sexual education is something that we are still not into it. Like if we use word like sexual education, some say that what did you say? It is not a good word. It is prohibited word, like for them. So before teaching them the idea of sexual violence, we have to teach them that accept this world. It is really a big problem about it, that having a rape in this contemporary time, and sexual violence is also a really big problem. But if we are not accepting this world on the word only, so it is really difficult to address this issue of sexual violence.
question is that as you have just mentioned about this poem and Jahan Mahapatra's story, so to what degree, what extent does Jayan Mahapatra expresses criticism towards these issues and religious superstitions?
In most of his work, we can see the mythology and other elements, other themes in it. He wrote the work Draupadi. Draupadi. In that word, he criticizes this religion and mythological superstition. And in this short story, the trunk of Ganesha, in the end of the story, mysteriously the problem of having difficulty in crafting the trunk, it solved mysteriously. So criticizing it is not, I think it is not very very important thing that he described in his poems. He of course somewhat point he criticized it religious superstition, but more he reflected.
Because in this term of
Yeah.
Ganesha, at the end, in the like
Yeah.
initial part, it was like some god is just destroying this trunk, and at the end it was cat who was just jumping down. So at the end there is superstition and sorry, in the beginning there is superstition and this denouncement of this cat.
This yes, the idea of destroying by god, it is not understood by so many people also. So the criticism of religious superstition is related with some people who understand this idea. Yeah.
Adjusting the camera according to your height.
Hello everyone. In second day of the presentation, I am going to discuss about biography of Salman Rushdie. These are the personal details. These are the points. First, discuss about the introduction of the writer Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie is an Indian-born British American novelist. He is born in 1947. His allegorical novels examine historical and philosophical issues. He was educated in England. He became a British citizen in 1964. On graduating in 1968, he worked briefly as an actor before starting a career as an advertising copyright. His first novel, Grimace, appeared in 1974. These are the notable works and awards: Satanic Verses, Midnight Children's, Victory City, Shame, The Golden House, Joseph Anton, Memoir. Awards: Booker Prize, Austrian State Prize for European Literature, Golden Pen Award. Magic realism in Salman Rushdie's work. Magic realism is connected with a style of writing that incorporates paranormal proceeding into realistic narrative without questioning the impulsivity of the event. Uh, Salman Rushdie uses the sequence of event style in a magic realism in a Midnight Children. Rushdie can consider as a writer who plays with the description technique of magic realism. Major themes and writing style. He present the common rhythm of the life through the various aspects of human of Indian life. Rushdie often explored the themes of identity and cultural hybridity, freedom of expressions, religion and faith, storytelling and narrative, magical realism, history and memory. Writing style of Salman Rushdie, effusive and melodramatic prose style. uh, Grimace, one of the Salman Rushdie's work. Rushdie's first novel is Grimace. It is a science fiction novel. It was his literary debut. Grimace undermines the concept of pure culture by demonstrating the impossibility of any culture philosophy. It was generally ignored by the public and literary critics. Grimace explored the ideas of personal identity and transformations. Second one is satanic verses. Uh, the Satanic Verses is the fourth novel of British Indian writer Salman Rushdie. First published in 1988, the book was inspired by the life of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. The title refers to the Satanic Verses, a group of Quranic verses about three pagan Meccan goddesses, Alat, Uzza, and Manat. This work is consist of a frame narrative using elements of magic realism interlaced with a series of subplots that are narrated as a dream vision experienced by a protagonist. So this is all about a story, a novel of Satanic Verses. Third one is a shame. This novel was Rushdie's third novel was a shame. It was published in 1983. It is set in and about Pakistan. This novel was also shortlisted for the Booker through it didn't make it. The book is written in the style of magic realism. It portrays the lives of Iskandar Harappa and General Raja Haider and their relationship. The central theme of the novel is the begetting shame begets violence. The concept of shame is explored through all of the characters, with the main focus being on Sufia Zona Bia and Omar Khayyam. Fourth one is Midnight Children's. Midnight Children's is a 1981 novel by Salman Rushdie. It is a post-colonial, post-modern, and magical realistic story told by its protagonist Salim Sinai. Midnight Children's was awarded the 1981 Booker Prize. The major themes of the novel is post-colonial identity, history, and the individual's fragmentations, migrancy, and memories. Conclusion. Salman Rushdie's life and works have been marked by both literary success and political controversy. His unique storytelling style and exploration of complex themes have left a significant mark on contemporary literature. These are the references or work citations. Thank you. Now you can ask me a question.
Payal, for which of his work was Salman Rushdie attacked in America? Should any writer face such treatment due to their work?
Which of all was attacked in America? Hmm. Which of us? Maybe Midnight Children. Uh, in the Midnight Children, maybe I'm not sure, but maybe. In Midnight Children's, Salman Rushdie attacked in America. Should any writer face such a treatment due to their work? Salman Rushdie, in many works, he faces his work criticized many times. So it is.
So, Payal, as you described in your presentation, how can we connect this theme, Salman Rushdie's works theme, in with real life?
Things with real. Uh, we can connect Salman Rushdie's works themes like with real life, with uh, anyone's conditions, anyone's story of families or real life event happen with anyone's families and characters of uh, characters, not characters, but we can connect the main theme of post-colonial and post-modernity and migration and other themes. We can connect with a real life incident. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nirali and today I am going to present on Radhakrishnan's literary legacy, influence on Indian writing. This is my personal introduction. So, this is the table of content. This is the introduction of Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was born on 5th September 1888 in Tirutani, Madras President, British India. Now it's in Tamil Nadu. We all know that his birthday is on 5th September is celebrated as Teachers' Day in India to honor his significant influence on education. And when Radhakrishnan became the president of India, some of his students and his friends requested him to allow them to celebrate his birthday, but then he replied, "Instead of celebrating my birthday, it would be my proud privilege if September 5th is observed as Teachers' Day." He was a distinguished Indian statesman, philosopher, and politician. He was India's second president and first vice president. Throughout his life and extensive writing career, Radhakrishnan sought out to defend, and promulgate his religion and a religion he variously identified as Hinduism, Vedanta, and the religion of the spirit. He was appointed a professor of philosophy. Radhakrishnan was honored with several outstanding awards, such as a knighthood in 1931, Bharat Ratna, and India's highest civilian award in 1954, and also the German order pour le Merit in 1954. The other one is the Peace Prize of the German book trade in 1961. These are some literary works of Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. His influence on our Indian literature. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan's influence on Indian literature is primarily seen throughout his philosophical and intellectual contribution, which have in turn shaped the theme and narrative found in various forms of Indian literature. Radhakrishnan's writing often blurred the lines between philosophy and literature. We all know that he was the professor of philosophy and not and he was not a literary author, but he was a professor of philosophy. But his idea and works have influenced in Indian literature. Radhakrishnan's writing on Indian philosophy, spirituality, and ethics have encouraged Indian authors to explore these profound themes in their literary works. Promoting Indian philosophy. I mentioned in my previous slide that he was the professor of philosophy. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan made significant contribution to the promoting of Indian philosophy. Radhakrishnan authored numerous books, essays, and articles that explained and interpreted Indian philosophy. His ability to make complex ideas understandable and his advocacy for the harmonious coexistence of different philosophical traditions have had a profound and enduring influence on the study and appreciation on Indian philosophy. The intersection of philosophy and literature. The intersection of philosophy and literature is a rich and fascinating realm where these two disciplines overlap, intertwine, and mutuality inform each other. Literature provides a medium for philosophers to convey complex ideas to a wider audience, while philosophy influences literature with depth, nuance, and intellectual inquiry. The dynamic relationship continues to produce thoughts and provoking and enduring works of literature that engage readers in philosophical contemplation. He bridged the gap between Eastern and Western thoughts, which are defined Hinduism against Western misconception. Radhakrishnan's legacy in modern literature. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan's legacy in modern literature is primarily felt throughout the influence of his philosophical and intellectual contribution on contemporary writers. While he was not a literary author in the tradition, in sense, his idea and works have left a significant mark on modern literature in various ways. Modern authors often draw inspiration from Radhakrishnan's call to embrace and preserve cultural identities. Modern authors often create narratives that blend profound philosophical idea with literary experience and aiming to engage readers in intellectual contemplation. Uh, Author draw inspiration from Radhakrishnan's philosophical insights in incorporating them into their works. Radhakrishnan's effort to bridge the gap between science and spirituality. The science is for philosophy, and the spirituality is considered in literature. Have resonated with modern writers who seek to address the tension between these two realms. Literature often delves into the intersection of scientific knowledge and spiritual beliefs. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan's legacy in modern literature is multifaceted, influencing literature that explores existential questions and spiritual journey. The interplay of science and spirituality, philosophical characters, intellectual dialogues, and moral education, cultural identity, global citizenship, and conflict resolution. This is my references. Thank you.
So, Nirali, do you believe that you described so many Radhakrishnan's philosophy in your presentations, or do you believe that we still need Radhakrishnan's philosophy in literature in this
contemporary times.
In contemporary time, we find many authors who are also use philosophy in their verse, because they know the uh, uh, important of philosophy, and this is also important in literature for make it more make it more understandable for everyone.
Nirali, in what ways have modern Indian authors been influenced by Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan?
Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was the professor of philosophy, and also the writer in our English literature. Uh, he was used philosophy and cultural related themes in his works, and the books which was he writes. The modern Indians author are influenced by his themes and philosophy.
Hello everyone, my name is Mansi. Mansi Gujadiya. Today is the second day of our presentation. In this presentation, I will discuss about hybridity in midnight children. Here is my personal information. First of all, we are discuss about introduction. Midnight Children is a 1984 novel by Indian British writer Salman Rushdie, published by Jonathan Cape, with cover design by Bill Bottom, about Indians' transition from British colonial rule to independence and partition. It is a post-colonial, post-modernism, and a magical realist story told by its chief protagonist, Salim, set in the context of historical events. The style of preserving history with fictional accounts is self-relaxing. In 1993, Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children was judged
the best novel among all the winners of the prestigious Booker Prize in the 25 years of the prize history. It figures prominently in list of the best 100 novels of the century, even the best 100 books of all time, and has recently been reprinted in the Everyman's Library and Penguin Great Book of the Century series. First we can describe a hybridity, a thing made by combining two different elements, a mixture. Hybrid can also be used as an adjective to describe something of mixed character. Hybridity is a mixture of two culture, religion, and race. uh, Salman Rushdie and hybridity. Rushdie advocates for a hybrid world where culture, diversity, and heterogeneity are not only accepted but celebrated. Rushdie promotes hybridity in four key areas of cultural identity, post-colonial history, national narratives, individual migrant identity, and the English language. Using his novels as an example, Midnight Children, Shame, the Satanic Verse, hybridity and homibhava. Hybridity can have at least three meanings in terms of biology, ethnicity, and culture. Definition of hybridity might be understood to mean an individual having access to two or more ethnic identity. In fact, Bhabha develops his notion of hybridity from Mikhail Bakhtin, who used to his discriminated takes a single voice from those with double voice. Homi Bhabha's hybridity occurs as a ambiguity of identity that brings a person in a position of in between. Now we are discuss about cultural hybridity in this novel. This novel tells that India is hybrid. Hybridity is a mixing and blending of two or more cultures as effects of colonization on cultures in societies. Rushdie's intentionally trends to show his Salim's condition as an effect to a strong and deserve a colonial authority. It is known as a hybridity. Midnight Children shows the blend of perspectives from many colonial people. The characters in the novel live between two or more culture identity without embracing a clear particular identity. They are hybrid characters. Those hybrid characters show India's hybridity. Now we can see a religion hybridity in this novel. The blending of names representing various religious in another hybridized factor. The author has chosen religious specific names that represent various deities and religious figures of Muslim and Hindus. Salim, the protagonist, Shiv and Parvati is among other children born on that midnight. Their name have been symbolizing of the mixture and hybridity among religion in the particular country. Salim is a perfect representation of the hybridity man, born with multiple allegiance and identities. He is a character of mixed backgrounds, the son of a colonial name William Metfords and a poor Indian woman. Yet rise as a son by the middle class Shinais.
In a conclusion, we can see that in a midnight children, hybridity is a central idea that reflects the multifaceted and complex nature of post-colonial Indian society. It underscores the uh, challenge and opportunity to living in a country that is a process of redefining its identity and culture. Here is my work reference. Thank you. Now you can ask a question.
Can we connect independent movement with a hybridity in midnight city?
Uh, yes, we can connect an independent movement with a hybridity in midnight children. In a midnight children, we can see uh, in a midnight children, our narrator is born in a midnight in 14 October, and he is also growth in independent India, and he is also shown a different perspective of our India. So we can say we can also definitely connect independent movement with the hybridity in midnight children.
Mansi, it is possible to observe elements of hybridity in Asian India.
Okay. Hybridity means a mixture of different culture, and it is also a different means a different culture. In our Asian time, we can also see a different culture and other mixture of different ideas. So we can definitely say that it is also possible to observe elements of hybridity in Asian time. Thank you.
So, very good evening to all of you. On the second day of presentation, session 3, I am going to deal with the topic Comparative Study of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan and C. Arbindo's Educational Philosophy. This is my academic information, and these are some major points which I will discuss in my presentation. So let's begin with the introduction of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He was a prominent Indian philosopher, educator, and statesman, played a significant role in shaping India's intellectual and educational landscape in the 20th century. He was born on September 5th September 1888 in Tiruttani, which is now in Tamil Nadu, India. He made many important contributions in the field of education and wrote more than 16 books on philosophy in his career. He was awarded the Supreme Award of India, a Bharat Ratna, for his outstanding contributions to education and politics, and his birthday is celebrated as Teachers' Day. He also represents India on global level. He works as a from 1949 to 1952. He represented India as its ambassador in Moscow, Russia, and including he was a president of the work committee of the organization called UNESCO. So, educational philosophy of Dr. Radhakrishnan. Radhakrishnan's philosophy was rooted in a Advaita Vedanta, a kind of idealistic philosophy. Radhakrishnan's educational ideas are blend of idealism and pragmatism. He followed the both idealism and practicality in his philosophy, and according to him, aim of education is to bring the change in our society. He sees education as tool for bringing about social, economic, and cultural change in society. He didn't love knowledge for knowledge's sake, but he wanted knowledge for its practical utility. His educational philosophy is based on the principles of universal love and humanity, mutual help, and cooperation, self sacrifice, and self abnegation. So, according to him, a main aim of education is to bring a change in our society, and according to him, only the right kind of education will help to remove the problems in our society. His philosophical ideas are reflected in his writings. Like Indian Philosophy, there are two volumes of this book: Search for the Truth, Religion and Culture, Spirit of Religion, Religion and Society, East and West Religion. In Essential of Psychology, Radhakrishnan highlights the fundamental aspects of educational theory. I quote, "The basis of educational theory is psychology. Education has for its aim the complete and harmonious development of the different functions of men. Most of those are and how they develop are problems of psychology. Every educator must have a full knowledge of the nature of the mind, which it is his business to bring into fullness and maturity. A knowledge of a child mind is therefore necessary for a teacher. Again, any method of teaching opposed to psychological principle is false. Psychology thus affords no negative touchstone of the true method of teaching." And his educational philosophy plays a pivotal role in preserving, enriching, and transmitting and adapting a country's culture. So, according to him, true education helps our society to bring changes. So now differences between the philosophy of Radhakrishnan and Sri Aurobindo. There are many similarities also, but Radhakrishnan mostly focuses on a character development and a culture, while Aurobindo is more focused on a physical development and a spirituality. So Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan's philosophy focus on blended idealism and pragmatism, emphasized character development, promoted values like love, truth, and goodness, valued culture as a means of personal transformation, advocate character development for nationalism. And Sri Aurobindo's philosophy focused on the spiritual development and personal development, emphasized culture enriched by spirituality, and proposed national education to aid national integration. Here is the educational philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. So, as I said, that he mostly focused on a spirituality. So, the central principle of his philosophy is to awaken each individual as a spiritual being. It connects education to life's truth and the child's self-mastery. Aurobindo's philosophy classifies human nature into five aspects: the physical, the mental, the psychic, and the spiritual. This classification corresponds to five dimensions of education: physical education, vital, mental, psychic, and spiritual education. So he mostly believed in spirituality. So he believes that every human should follow the four ashram stages in their life. So his core objective was the gradual spiritualization of society, highlights the significance of spiritual discipline. According to him, physical development and holiness are the chief aims of education. For the unity of India, nationalism is very important aim of education. So, according to him, nationalism is a very important in education, and it's based on his philosophy is based on integralism. It is a synthesis of idealism, realism, pragmatism, and spiritualism. So these are the comparison of philosophy of Sri Aurobindo and Dr. Radhakrishnan. So now let's discuss NEP 2020. This is National Education Policy, and according to Education Ministry, this policy tries to follow the aim of Dr. Radhakrishnan. So here are the list of the aim of NEP 2020. Though government says that he tried to follow the aims of Dr. Radhakrishnan, but in reality, when we observed our education system, we can see that there are many or we can say that our education system is mostly based on job oriented education rather than the focus is on spiritual development or character development. So in reality, there are so many people, so many children who are not able to study. So here are the examples. Like a rural development ministry data shows that over 14% of villages in India don't have any schools. So these are the realities of our education system. And if we talk about the Gujarat, there are 900 government primary schools in Gujarat functions with just one teacher. And most of classroom are in a poor state. So here we can see that in school there are no teachers, and another side that TET pass candidates are protest against the Gnan Sahayak Yojana and asking for a permanent job. So these are the reality of our education systems, and though government says that we are trying to follow the aim of Radhakrishnan, but in reality we can see the other situations. These are the references. Thank you. Now I'm open for question answers.
Nancy, how can teaching value in our school help make a society better and solve our problems we can face today?
So education on a basis of value, like Dr. Radhakrishnan also suggested education value basis like a character development. If we teach student moral things and teach them to respect each other, so we can find changes in our society. Teachers are making of new generations. So if they can build good citizens of nation and society, then we can we can say that this valuable education help to remove the problems of our society.
Means, in what way can we adapt these educational ideas to meet the needs of the 21st century?
Okay. So, if we really want to adapt this idea in contemporary times, so first we have need to build a school with good facilities and give jobs to the teacher, and then we have to focus on technology basis education and skill based education rather than just degree or a job oriented education. So, this how we can adapt this idea in contemporary time. Thank you.
Okay, so that was the last for the day. A very quick observations. In the last one, let us start with the last one, where Insia has cited. I'm sharing a screen to see that. So here, a second reference that is cited that goes with Ghosh. The second one, though it's not very clearly visible, but it is Ghosh Arvindo. It's about comparative study of educational thoughts. So it means like Ghosh has written it, and he has done comparative study of Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. By the citation, it goes like that, which even chronologically is not possible. If you see who was born first and whether they were contemporary to what extent, then also it is doubtful. So when you search this, we find that you might have taken from this PhD thesis, Masters of Education, not PhD. But for MAd, I think this is the comparative study. Is it so? This one you referred? So then it should go with the name of the person who is the investigator is Monica Trehan, MAd student. So that person is the writer and doing the study of this. So otherwise, it seems that Ghosh has written a comparative study of Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan's. This. So these are things which you have to be very careful. Otherwise, people will say that, well, these simple things are not taught to the students, that what to do in this manner. Okay, so this and in Payal's presentation, you're talking about biography of Salman Rushdie. So when you deal with the biographical aspect, then there is no need to talk directly about the text. Then you talked about several texts that are given. But what happened in his life, personal life, and specifically about that life, what he has written, then it is a connection. Otherwise, like where he was educated, we referred to one work in our classroom where we compared Salman Rushdie and Indira Gandhi, their childhood education, and that all was discussed by that biographer of Indira Gandhi. That source is very important, where about childhood, about personal life, then what happened, what problems came in personal life, education, marriages, all those issues. That is biography, exactly speaking. And some works like Joseph Anton we discussed in the class. Now that is directly connected with his biography. That what happened to him when Khomeini has given a fatwa against his life, and how he has to hide as Joseph Anton, alias name he has taken from his beloved writers, Anton Chekhov and Joseph Conrad. That is connection of biography and the work. That is what we need to discuss. And recently also there is this talk about the novel Knife. So his last attack on him, and now the memory of that attack, and then he was hospitalized. So he's coming up with a new write-up titled as Knife. So then it becomes biographical study. The others did quite well presentation. Still, you are bringing content from various things and reading the things. Try to see that you orally talk about your content. We have good presentation from Trushali, who compared with these films, both the films Bharat and Lal Singh, and good points were brought in about how one is realistic or magic realism is there. Comparison was done about narratives, characters, that also. What a few more things can be brought in such a study. One is timeline. So one can present infographically also timeline, that from which time to which time. As in history book we see that there is a timeline, and then on one side there is the rulers and politically what happened, and the other side literally what happened. If you recall the history book that we have studied in semester 1. So there was a timeline, that one side political thing, another side writers and publications. The same way here, the real life event and cinematic event, parallel, that how they have taken or which event they have taken. So that is possible in all the three films, infographic presentation of timeline. Second, and very important 2 points are why people are telling this kind of stories by using this fictional narrative of fact. So one is they want to make a commentary or they want to give a critique of socio-cultural dynamics of the day. So how are they making a comment on society and culture? That becomes very important point in this. And then what is the artistic intent? What is the intention of the cinema maker in telling this story? So that is also can be brought as a comparative study. And you have not brought comparatist. Maybe next semester we will talk about comparatist. In our one paper we'll have on comparative and translation studies. So there you will get several articles. So those comparatists should come whenever we are comparing. So that gap will get filled in the next semester when we will have several articles on comparative studies. So you get idea to borrow. To whenever you write, you have to cite them. And you have to tell that so and so people are saying, and that is what you are doing in comparative studies. Okay, then even Rajeshvariba presented well on this point was very good. This tectonic plates are there. So because this metaphor is very appropriate in seeing rather than boundaries or barriers. Because tectonic plates, whenever they try to come near, also, and then also it is very chaotic. When the plates come near, there are huge earthquakes, tsunamis and earthquakes. So all these things, the idea of nation, caste, race, class, they are like tectonic plates. Whenever they try to do anything with them, there is chaotic life. There is lots of disturbance that is created in human lives. Pooja's on Jayanta Mahapatra also was good, presented very well about various aspects. He also recently passed away, so there are lots of talk about and lots of writings also came out about his life. Okay, the others also did quite well. This comparison was good. Radhakrishnan and Arvindo on this idea that one is practically looking and another is spiritually looking. Two are quite a different thing about this. One cares for the spirit and another making life better, people's lives better through education. Okay, fine. So others were also content wise it was good. All other presenters. Okay, so reminder, don't forget to do these two things. One, grading. Right now only complete the grading so that there is no need of a further reminder, evaluation of everybody. And second, timestamp. After 1 or 2 hours, don't forget to put the timestamp also. We are ending the stream.